What up, travelers? I've returned to give you all a feel for the other types of content you can expect from this channel. Don't expect 1,000 game reviews, but expect a few here and there, and yes, I'm actually certified to talk about games. Once again, I'm late to this party and people have probably covered it, but I don't surf YouTube because I'm so busy. Genshin Impact is a good game in terms of core gameplay mechanics and learning curve, but bad in terms of economic systems. Let's start with the good. Firstly, I'd like to state that this world is gorgeous. The environment was made to be a work of art. Your eyes are supposed to feed off the scenery and feel a warm sense of serenity enter your body like a hot piece of cake. There's so many gorgeous locations that were made for you to just sit down and enjoy for an eternity. If there wasn't the slightest desire to create content, I could spend an entire month just admiring the environment design in this game. Screenshots do not do it justice. After Professor Paimon asks which gender you are, and yes, I believe that's adult Paimon or the evil part of her after she's been casted out, the game starts off slow. You're not being pushed to get to the first objective, and Paimon isn't like, "Hey, listen!" while you stand there. And you have the option to even walk past it and explore on your own. I got as far as drowning for the first time, and I thought I hit the edge finally. You get the idea that you can collect things right out of the gate if you come across a crab, as the UI element shows up first and then quickly goes away to kind of pique your interest. I found a legend tested for fall damage immediately and got run over by a boar as a first encounter. The first area doesn't feel rushed and you can just get a feel for things freely. The story is teased to pique your interest, but unfortunately for me, that's when my interest for the narrative decided to go to the store for some milk and never come back. Just like my dad. Speaking of dads, let's talk about Timmy's dad. The first NPC I interacted with was way better than I was expecting. Apparently only 10% of people hit this the first time, yet every one of my friends got the result. This is where my interest for NPC dialogue for the first time ever decided to listen in. The game is rated teen or 12+ in some other countries, and due to that the skin is limited on the characters, but the writing elements can still be very suggestive. Each time I went somewhere, there was someone waiting to just deliver Konosuba style of fun dialogue. I'm searching through the world for this, and with the preview they've given, I'm ready for it to get even darker and go deeper. On the note of previews, the game sets up so many possible future side quests and story elements just waiting to be done later as more content comes out. I am honestly looking forward to some of these and want to complete some of these. One of the things that I hope comes out soon is the ability to pet animals. Look how happy these animals are. Let me pet them. Why can't we pet them? Yo-ho, why can't we pet them? The cast of characters, everything. Let's start with Paimon. Paimon's supposed to be the voice of the MC since they're supposed to be a self-insert and not someone with an identity. Paimon says he should ignore half her dialogue since it's along the lines of, so there's this thing we have to get to. This thing? Yes, this thing, and it's over there. Over there? Yeah, we should go over there. I hate this kind of dialogue. By the way, I'm not making fun of Paimon's actress. She actually did a fantastic job. It's just how the character was written. They throw it in there so you don't clock out and stop focusing, but they could just shorten half the dialogue and let the rest be in any of the 5,000 books they make you find. So apparently the main character does have a lot of extra voice lines, and these are all said, but for some unknown reason, she never talks. Because she's supposed to be a character that goes across universes and she's supposed to be a self-insert, any collaboration she's in is instantly canon, which makes you the main character in every collaborative game she's in, be it Nier or Smash or whatever. As for the rest of the cast, then here's a bunch of spoilers. Skip to this time if you don't want to hear them. Amber's an energetic Genki, still a bit in touch with her childhood. She's fantastic, and anyone who finds her annoying can run out of stamina while swimming. Diluc is a man who grew out of his edge boy phase and is now annoyed with everything. Jean is a fantastic woman. She's got the legs, the work ethic, the leadership, and the ponytail. The Jean x Diluc ship is glorious, and for those who haven't played yet, they're in a master-servant relationship. I wonder where he gets it from. Lisa's a MILF, and the date you go on with her is absolute perfection. Kaya is a very sexy Baishojin, and next to Diluc, you can see some possible tension for BL. He's also a total bro, and honestly, I'd trust him with my life. Chungling is the perfect cooking waifu with lots of energy, and she's my Beyblade for reasons. Many reasons. Fischl is a fantastic character. Honestly, one of my favorites with how she delivers lines like someone in a Shakespearean play. Mona's a poor girl trying to hide it, and all you want to do is throw money at her. Take my goddamn money. Klee. Everyone should know by now that she's a terrorist, but what you might not know is her mom is a complete psychopath, and I hope we never meet her. Diona is a bartending tsundere cat girl, and she's so goddamn cute. Let her be my house cat. Beidou. She's a fantastic woman, and honestly, God, I just love everything about her. Beidou and Ningguang are a ship. They both have dom energy, and I can see the fun in the relationship making everything a battle. Child is a troublemaker, and he's hiding things. Sucrose is absolutely fantastic, and I love her. God, she's so cute. The rest, I don't know much about or don't care for. There's this new NPC that I fear more than Klee's mom. This man right here, this daily quest, this guy has all the power in the world. I expect him to show back up at one point, but if he's above Lumine, we're gonna have to fight him at some point, despite him telling us not to fear him. And all their tropes are fine. Others may be annoyed by them, but I enjoy the rare interactions they have with each other. Sadly, the only time you get more stories by clicking on each character and reading the info page or listening to the voice lines that are never said. Why do you do this? Let them say these on occasion when they're idle instead of the 2 different lines they give each time. The resources are there. Let them use it. Why won't you use it? The other time interactions come into play is when there's a limited runtime event, and unfortunately you can't replay any story. The combat. There's a rock, paper, scissors system that's core to the game. It creates a dynamic and party building, so you don't go around running with nothing but pyros unless you want to, in which case, having 2 of them in a party offers a buff. So after a successful or failed raid against water elementals, you can adjust the party accordingly. Not that it's necessary to run with each element out, but it helps with defeating enemies and makes boss fights a bit easier, causing you to seriously consider who to have out in a party out of the 6 elements available, soon to be 7. Yes, you can get by with the DPS mash build, but if something is immune and you're not doing 2k per hit with base damage, you're in for a long fight. Artifacts let you build characters to be DPS, supports, or tanks. Most can fill any role if you have the right party and not running around with waifus. Pair that with weapons and suddenly you have massive damage if you can pay attention to character buffs and what characters scale on. You can run a party without the most optimal gear and still get by pretty well, with some elbow grease and a lot of time to waste. In all, the game wants a proper party to have a sword or polearm user, a claymore user, a mage, and an archer. Now, how parties are actually built are 3 swords and 1 healer who does nothing. Hopefully, this gets balanced out at some point, but currently it's a pain in the butt to swap to a party used for resource hunting and puzzle solving, but isn't an ideal fighting party due to gameplay not being the best, or the characters not being a waifu, husbando, or daughter. I have no son. Cooking. You can cook and it's great. I have no idea why I enjoy cooking a variety of dishes in games, but the things they offer are great. Health, revives, and buffs. Defense buffs, attack buffs, crit buffs. And every time I think I have enough to last me, I get into a fight with something that takes everything away from me. They even make you choose between ingredients that can ascend a character. So you have the dilemma. Do you want to smash something easily, or do you want to hold it for someone later who might need it? You can find new recipes through chests, talking to people, or just buying them. The ability for a character to create a special dish is extremely tempting too, since you can pick between using less ingredients or letting your waifu/husbando make something special with an additional benefit. Gray area. Collecting things is one of the economic systems. There's tons to pick up and they all have varying refresh rates, and as someone who likes to go on collectathons, it's a great thing. Anyone who isn't a collector of the very shiny things they come across is going to hate it. If you grab things naturally doing daily quests, en route to main quest, or side quest, or even after each fight, you are set to level 1 full party at a steady and normal rate without farming, so long as they don't share house mushrooms or core lapis. If you're trying to level every character, you're going to have to actually farm that stuff daily 4 hours at a time. It's mimicking an MMO though. What can you expect? Downsides to the game. Economy is everywhere. Everything is something and everything is needed to do anything to progress characters. You get tons of mora, but you spend it almost as fast as you get it, if you're steadily progressing properly instead of just logging in to do dailies. By the way, the training dummy daily is the worst. Why do you have this? It is extremely frustrating and stupid, and the number of times I have to redo this sucks, and then the line she delivers, There's always something to spend it on, and no matter how many ingredients we have, I always need more. Upgrades cost mora. For ascension, artifacts, weapons, talents, and leveling your character using XP mats costs the most mora. XP mats are needed to effectively level your character, and without it, you're hurting. Both of those can be gained through these little things, but it costs resin, and that's an economy system I hate the most. Primo gems I don't care about. You can earn them free like a good gacha game. Resin is so small it tries its hardest to get you to spend your Primo gems so you don't have enough to pull for the next banner. At the beginning there was only 120 and that got spent fast, but since they've increased it to 160, which doesn't really help except let someone do an elite run one additional time. Any raid or boss fight seems like something that could be soloed, but when you're grinding for resources it's much better co-op. Problem is, when you start a co-op you can only do resin missions or help them fight enemies for a chest. It's almost telling people to farm together, but there's no real substance to the amount of time you spend in multiplayer getting artifacts or killing bosses. It seems like an afterthought to create a semi-social environment. It's helpful on the side where in Dark Souls, a second person makes things easier as you progress, but you're able to have a full session when you're with them versus the 20 minutes it takes to run out of resin before you have to wait for the next day. It's fine to join random worlds for a brief period of time to support someone like in Journey, but most people reject you out of fear of stealing resources. A few times a friend and I desynced out of the server so we can both get resources, but a patch changed that. I feel if people want to harvest things all day and all night by going into worlds, it shouldn't hurt the host. Let them harvest items. Due to this, I've rejected countless random co-op joins, some probably just wanting an easier fight. The purpose is to create a limited resource that makes people want to keep coming back to the game, but the game has enough fun mechanics in it that just getting the items at a casual rate should be good enough. But since this is trying to emulate an MMO, it wants you to spend 4 hours per game session. It's not terrible, but there's one overall issue that hurts the 4 hours of gameplay required. Level scaling. This is the largest deal breaker for me when it involves an MMO. MMOs create meaningful gameplay loops with close fights that take strategy, planning, and multiple runs to get better at and make fights easier, as well as a lot of attacking and slowly watching the health bar go down over time. There's a sense of accomplishment with taking 40 minutes to do a raid the first time, then 5 minutes to do a raid the 10th time. It just keeps leveling everything up and making work harder and harder. I get extremely bored of inflated health bars and hitting the same thing for 3 minutes each time to kill something. Give me a handful of things to kill in a short period of time and I'm all about it. Unless it's a boss, I don't enjoy fighting things with massive health bars. Every time you finally catch up and start having fun killing things with some ease, your world level catches up to you. To avoid this, don't do the quest to level up your world until after you've farmed 90% of the optimal equipment you need. I've avoided chests and resources just because I don't feel like fighting. Worse is World Level 8 decides to break the level cap for enemies and says, "Hey, here's a car with a broken radiator. Drive through Death Valley for the rest of your life." The final part of the sucky economy is the RNG on equipment. Sometimes a guaranteed piece from a quest has the worst role in it, making you waste resin to try to get the right equipment for the right characters. They threw in useless items like HP and defense without a percent just to make it so you get garbage rolls and make you grind more. Things that can be done to fix the problem. Firstly, let us have 5 party members. That alone could help avoid the annoyingly long time it takes to open the party menu and solve puzzles without having a dedicated puzzle party. Increase the amount of resin we have. Again, bringing it to about 240 would be great for multiplayer. The chest's value needs to be greater than or equal to the fight. This kind of fight is not okay. It sucks, and it's annoying. Why do you have this? Since the game came out, the ability to craft resin into fragile resin cuts raids in half, and have been beneficial since we don't have to spend too much time being disappointed in the fact that we pulled garbage. The compass that we can craft to find anemo and geosigils is actually very useful. Adding this feature has helped the game a lot. It's satisfying to glide across the land, but it was also very satisfying to just slam down from the highest mountain. Also, these food delivery quests were not very fun. I can see you guys trying to add more meaningful gameplay mechanics though. Keep testing. A few more good things is that mining isn't a pain with the right characters. Stamina progression is great. It was annoying at first to have limited stamina, but as you got more it became less of a problem, and the progression for it felt nice. There's tons to craft as an option to make status effect have a smaller effect on your character, and the time those buffs last is appropriate. Lastly, I enjoy the amount of stuff I get to pick up and run with. Grab this, grab that, look, another diversion, go get it! Oops, I'm now 5 miles away from my objective. Looking forward to the rest of the map they have planned. One thing I'd like to request from all of you is to stop saying that the Japanese is better. The dub is good. If a streamer is playing the dub, stop telling them the Japanese is better. We don't care. We're playing the dub for a reason. Let us play it. Let us enjoy it. The dub is good. You need to shut up about the subs and dubs thing. I bet you $1,000,000 the Chinese is better, but a lot of you don't have it enabled because you're all freaking weebs. If you're wondering if I recommend Genshin Impact, the answer is yes. As mentioned, I hate MMOs, and farming in this game isn't as hard as it is in other games. It's not terrible, and it's pretty fun when you're playing with someone. I enjoy collecting things, I like movement, I like the character attacks, everything just feels nice. And as mentioned at the very beginning, this game is 100% gorgeous compared to Warframe, which is just a goddamn blur. And it's definitely a game where you can say, hey, come visit this location with me, and just enjoy the moment with a friend. Alright, that's about all, guys. Let's get the credits for this real quick. Alright, here are the credits for whoever made this map. The map is called Japanese Shrine. I highly recommend visiting it. It's very pretty. Usually it's brighter. I don't know why the sun is at a different thing. Honestly, this is... it might just be an update because they decided to change it, but... Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know I could... Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know that I could do that in this world. That's actually really cool. Is this a feature? Is this a normal feature? Anyway, with that, I will catch you all in the next... What?